I'm here today to talk about this oddly shaped saucepan called a Saucier. Now, if you mention Saucier around the test kitchen, a bunch of us will get all excited and tell you how much we love them. But do you really need one? We decided to put it to the test. We bought 8 Sauciers and we pitted them against our favorite conventional saucepan, the 4-quart All-Clad stainless saucepan. Now, these pans all had capacities of between 3 and 3.5 quarts, which was the most common large size of Saucier. And they ranged in price from $69.99 to over $300. 6 of our pans are fully clad, meaning they're made of a layer of aluminum sandwiched between 2 layers of steel. This is a 3-layer material throughout the pan, which we found tends to make pans heat more evenly. One pan had a disc bottom, where the pan is made of stainless steel with aluminum and stainless steel layers at the base only. And one was made of enameled cast iron, which is very sturdy but heavy. Now, as you can see, here's what's distinctive about a Saucier. It's rounded, like a ball cut in half. It has wide flaring walls and a wider opening than a typical saucepan. Now, as its name and shape implies, this pan is really built for reducing sauces. In fact, Saucier is also the name for classical French cooks who prepare sauces, stocks, and soups. Now, in each of these pans, we made risotto, we made gravy, and pastry cream. And we compared how well they performed as we cooked the recipes, as well as how comfortable they were to handle. We also tested their reduction speed by boiling a measured amount of water in each one for 10 and 20 minutes and then weighing the results. And finally, since their curvy sides are known for being easier to clean than L-shaped sides of conventional saucepans, we washed each pan by hand after each test. Now here's the good news. Every pan in our lineup delivered creamy risotto, satiny gravy, and smooth pastry cream. Now, because of those curved walls, it was a pleasure to whisk and stir in most of them. And this was a noticeable improvement over the stiffer, bumpier movements the whisk or spoon made in the more L-shaped walls of the saucepan. One pan by Paderno was the exception. It had L-shaped walls like a regular saucepan, and it trapped custard and rice in the corners. The better pans had another thing going for them, a broader base and wider cooking surface. If they were too narrow, food piled up and steamed, like when we were softening onions for risotto and gravy. Too wide, and the food was threatened to scorch. The best ones were between 5 3/4 and 7 inches across the inside cooking surface. Now, when we boiled water in the pans, it definitely evaporated faster in all of the Sauciers compared to the saucepan. And those wide flaring sides really encourage evaporation and reduction of sauces. The fastest pan by Creuset was about 13% faster than the saucepan. You can still do all these tasks in a saucepan, but it'll just be a bit slower. Bottom line, if you're cooking in a Saucier, keep an eye on recipe times because you'll probably be done a little bit faster than usual. Now, the biggest difference between the Sauciers was in their overall design. That means the size and shape of the handles and the pan's weight and feeling of balance. We didn't like handles that were too stumpy or skinny or too sharp-edged to hold. And we didn't like handles that got too hot and forced us to use pot holders. The best ones were about 8 inches long and at least 2.5 to 3 inches around for a solid grip, and they stayed nice and cool. The cast iron pan came in dead last. It was just too heavy with too stumpy a handle to be comfortable. Some pans had handles that angled up sharply. We really preferred handles that gave us a much more natural angle to hold them, which translated to better leverage. Finally, let's talk about cleanup, because this might be the most convincing reason to get a Saucier. The lack of sharp corners means food doesn't get trapped in the corners, and they're very simple and comfortable to wash. Our favorite Saucier was the Le Creuset 3.5-quart stainless steel Saucier pan. It's fully clad with 3 layers of metal for even heating. It has a wide bowl with walls that slope gently down to a 5 3/4 inch cooking surface, giving us a shape that really allowed broad, efficient strokes with a whisk, rubber spatula, or sponge. And its long, wide, comfortable handle, set at a relatively straight angle, gives great control. Now, at $250, this pan is pricey, and it won't necessarily replace our favorite all-clad saucepan. But if you give this pot space in your kitchen, you might find you're reaching for it every day.